Number 4, getting honest about sin. And I think this is something that we struggle with sometimes inside of the church. We don't like to talk about sin. And I think that is so foolish because sometimes the most loving conversations are conversations about the things that are killing us. A little over a year ago, I was meeting with a group of church planters in the sticks outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't have cell phone signal. And I was taken off guard when a car came pulling up the dirt road that we were staying on. A guy got out of the car and he asked for me by name. My heart skipped a beat as a dad and a husband. And he said, your wife's been trying to get a hold of you all day. I got in a car and I drove to the first place I could get cell phone signal. My wife picked up the phone. She was weeping on the other end. She had just been diagnosed with cancer at 39 years old. I got on the first plane that I could to go home. The next morning, we woke up together and we went to go see her doctor. And let me tell you, what we needed that day was not somebody who was going to beat around the bush to make us feel better. What we needed that day is not somebody that was so cowardice that they didn't have the courage to tell us what was really going on. We needed somebody who was going to be brave, somebody who was going to be direct, and somebody who was going to help us establish a fight against this thing that was threatening our family called cancer. Today, 18 months later, my wife is cancer-free and continuing to fight that fight. But I learned something there, that when we avoid and ignore having conversations about sin with people in their life, we are just as irresponsible as a doctor who's unwilling to talk about the things that are killing his patients. See, we can cultivate community, we can run into the mess, we can open up our churches and our lives to true stories, but if we don't introduce Jesus to the disease, if we do not be honest and direct about the sin in our community, we will always fall short. I love the picture in John chapter 8 of Jesus engaging the woman caught in the act of adultery. One of the things that Jesus did so well, remember, he knelt down next to her. Everybody else was standing up over her, looking down upon her, and Jesus knelt down next to her, and he said, "Where are your accusers?" She said, "There are no accusers. They're all gone." He said, "Yeah, and I don't accuse you either, but get up. Move forward from this place. Go and sin no more." That's always the call of the gospel, isn't it? That God loves us so much, he meets us right where we're at, but he loves us so extravagantly that he refuses to leave us there. We are instruments of that call as embedded churches.